So today we're going to do bearings. A bearing is a 3-digit angle measured from north and it's moving clockwise. Okay, so measured from north, moving clockwise. Sometimes you would have seen in some of the old movies that they'll have something where they're looking out to sea and they're looking for a boat or a plane that's disappeared, and they'll have a radar, and the radar is a computer on board that's searching, and that's what it's doing. It's starting at north and it's going clockwise looking, and it goes beep when it gets back to north and it goes again. Okay, so the middle of the compass is very important when we get to the word problems. If you're starting a trip or a journey, they might say, right, you're starting on a trip, you're going to go north for 4 kilometres, then you're going to turn, then you're going to go east for 3 kilometres. Where are you from your starting point? That type of question. All trips and journeys, you must start in the middle of the compass. The compass is this, all right? North at the top, south at the bottom, and east and west, sometimes people get mixed up. East is over here and west is over here. As far as we're going, living where we do, if you face north, think of where the beach is and go from there. You'll have north will be the way you're facing, you should know where that is. East is where the beach is. South is the opposite end of north, and west is the one you've got left. Okay. Sometimes people remember things like never eat shredded wheat, going around clockwise with those letters to try and remember the directions. Do whatever it takes, but you've got to know them. All right, the other thing that's important is if they do a sentence and they have a word from in there, whatever is the next thing written after the word from is the thing that's in the middle of the compass. So that will be right here in the middle. Okay, so all I've done here is put the directions on the compass and just shown you that we're going off in this direction when we do bearings, clockwise, the way the hands of a clock move. Okay, now the other thing you've got to be familiar with are directions on the compass. Now we do know north, south, east and west. We've done those already. You're going to remember those and not get them mixed up. The next direction you need to know is the ones that are halfway. So if I draw a line straight through like that, and the same this direction, what I'm doing is splitting it. There's a right angle here, and that right angle has been split into half. So we have 45 degrees here and 45 degrees here. So we're splitting that angle completely into 2 equal parts. Now, that direction there is halfway between north and east, and we call it northeast. This one here is halfway between south and east, we call it southeast. With these directions, you always start with the north or south first. So over here, this one's between west and south. We're not going to call it west-south. We always start with north or south. So we're starting with the south and then putting the west after it. This one here is between north and west, so it's north-west. Okay, so you need to know those. When they start talking about wind directions and things, they might say there's a northeasterly blowing, a northeasterly wind. That means it's coming from the northeast. So the wind is coming this direction. It's coming from the northeast and it's heading down this way. Okay, so the other one you need to know is if we split it up even further. So I'm going to split up this angle into 45 divided by 2, which would be 22.5 degrees each. I'm not going to write it in because it's not really room to. So I'm going to split it halfway and keep it going down here. And I'm going to do the same here. And I'm going to do the same here. And I'm going to do the same here. So we have all these new directions. Now if you use different colours like I'm doing, it won't be so congested. And if you draw this diagram big, it'll be a lot easier to look at. Okay, now this direction up here is halfway between north and northeast. You always start with the single letter. So we're going to start with the north, and then we write northeast after it. This one here is halfway between northeast and east. We always start with a single letter. So it's called east, northeast. This one here is halfway between east and southeast. Start with the single letter, east, southeast. This one here is between south and southeast. Start with the single letter, south, southeast. This one will be south, southwest. I'll just fix this up. This one will be west, southwest. And this one will be west, northwest. And the last one will be north, northwest. So you do have to be a little bit familiar with those directions as well. Okay, I'm going to start the examples. It's not very hard today. The harder stuff's going to come next lesson. All right, so in the first one it says, what is the bearing of each point from O? So remember I said that whatever's written after from is in the middle of the compass. So that means that O is going to be in the middle of the compass. And it is. They've got O in the middle of the compass, like they said. Now, we want to give this bearing. So watch what I do. I'm going to start from north with my red pen, go clockwise till I hit that line. Now, I want to know what that angle is I've just moved through. Okay, so if you have a think about it, there's a couple of ways you could do it, but the quickest way for this particular question is if you know that from north all the way around to the west line, all the way around to there, if you know that that's 270 degrees, then if you watch what actually happens, we go 270 and then we go backwards 27 degrees to be able to hit this line. If you're going backwards, you're subtracting. So we're going to do 270, take away 27. And that will give us with 243 degrees. It is a 3-digit angle, so we're fine. That's our bearing. Okay, let's look at the next one. So the bearing of the point from O. From O is in the middle of the compass, so that's good. We're going to start from north with our red pen, go clockwise till you hit the line, and we need to give them that angle. Now, if you think about it, from here to here is 90 degrees, and then we need to keep going in the same direction. So we're going to add this time. So we're going to have 90, add on 25, and you get 115 degrees. That's a 3-digit angle, so that's fine. Okay, and in part C, we're starting from north, go clockwise till you hit the line. That's the angle we want to give them. So if you think about it, we go from here all the way around to there. That would be 270. And this time we're going to continue on in that same direction, so we're adding. So it's 270, add the 42, and you're going to get 312 degrees. And that's a 3-digit angle, so that's fine. So basically you start from north, you go clockwise till you hit the diagonal looking line. Okay, and you stop there. Then you've got to work out how to get there. Okay, so if you're going to, if you know some angles and you're continuing in the same direction, you're adding. If you know an angle and you're backtracking, you subtract. Okay, so in this one here, they've given you this diagram, and the questions are, firstly, what is the bearing of each direction? Now, that means a direction like one of these, or point from O. It depends what they've given us. Okay, so the first one says N. Now, the only N on here is the N for north. So they want to know the bearing of north. Now, if you think about it, we start at north and we go clockwise. Well, we're not going anywhere because we're at north. So our answer is going to be 0 degrees, but you can't just write 0 degrees. It has to be a 3-digit angle. So you must fill in these first two with zeros. So it's 0, 0, 0 degrees. Okay, the next one, W. The only W on this diagram is the W for west. So think about it. If we start at north and go clockwise till we hit west, that's 270 degrees. That's a 3-digit angle. We're fine with that. Okay, part 3, we're looking at T. So for T, we start at north, go clockwise till you hit the line that goes to the T. We've got to work out what that angle is. So we know if we go from north all the way to west, it's 270. Continue on the same direction, 60 more degrees. So we've got 270, add on 60 more degrees, and we get 330 degrees. Okay, next one, H. There's H over there. So I want to know, if I go from north clockwise till I hit the line for H, how many degrees is that? Well, the easiest way to do it would be to go, well, if I go all the way down to here, it's 90, and then I'm going to go backwards 18 degrees. So it's 90, take away 18, 72 degrees. Now, that's not a 3-digit angle. So I put the 72 degrees down, but I need 3 digits. So I put a 0 in front of it to make it 3 digits. All right, and in part B, still from this diagram, what is the compass direction shown by B? Now, this is what we're talking about, compass direction. So which one of these is B? Now, you can see that B is halfway between these two directions because they've marked a 45 in there. So if that's 45, that will be 45 as well. That's exactly halfway between these two. So it's halfway between west and south, but remember we always give the north or south first. So the answer is south-west. Okay, we're coming back in the next video to do some more practice with this work.